Coco, were you really just 15 when Shadow Frost, like, you wrote it?
Yeah. Yeah, I was in 10th grade.
I mean, I read
Yeah.
that and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like unbelievable. So you wrote it. Then what made you decide? Then what were your steps after that?
Oh, well, I mean, the first thing I did, I guess, when I finished it, well, I was probably around, because originally I was writing the book for a school project, and the project itself was originally just supposed to be like a collection of short stories. Um, but like the first story that I started writing ended up being longer and longer and longer, and then I was like 50, 60,000 words in, and
Oh my
I
God.
was like, there's still so much story left to tell. So I was probably almost done it when I was thinking like, oh, I should try and get this like published or something. And so I had absolutely no clue what path I was about to go down, or what craziness would ensue. But yeah, so we sold the book as a trilogy, and so I began working on Godstorm, I think when I was 17 or 18-ish, something like that. And yeah, and now I'm here. Yeah, so I'm like finishing up two more right now, but I'm just like, for me, like I know that a big inspiration for me has been Victoria Schwab, because she's like in her early 30s now, and she has like 24 books like under her wing, like under her belt. So that for me is like a big career goal, and I really look up to her for that. So
Well, Tochi, you too, you're pretty young and you have quite a few books out too. So, how is it like being so young and having all of this success?
I mean, me being young, tell that to my lower back. No, it feels cool, but at the same time, I feel like I've been doing this for a while, because I'd been writing book length material since, I don't know, since I was like 13. And so I'd like known how to write books, or, had known how to learn how to write books, for a decade and a half before I sold Beast Made of Night and Crown of Thunder. And so it felt like so it's almost like there's my writing life before publication and my writing life after publication. My writing life after publication is a bit more exciting. But it's because it's funny that like Riot Baby, I wrote Riot Baby before I wrote Beast Made of Night. I wrote the first incarnation of Goliath before I wrote Beast Made of Night. And so what's been really interesting is being able to, now that the door is open for me, reach back and look at some of the earlier creations and see what can be done with them. Because I think a really cool thing that it was very interesting to learn is that nothing is wasted on a writer's journey. Everything can be salvaged, and some stuff doesn't even need to be salvaged. It's just already good. And I think a lot of writers on their journey, particularly at certain parts, they'll think, oh, if it's not being published, I have to completely throw it away, or I have to do a completely different story, or what have you. But I mean, my thing, it's like a chop shop for me. Like I'll it's like, oh, that story's got a pretty cool arm. Let me take that and put it onto this one. And I like that one's legs. Let me take that. And then that one's got a really good liver. Let me let me, and it's like, I'm putting together the coolest Frankenstein ever. But yeah, it's been interesting. But also I think for me, the thing that I learned very early on was that I just love writing. And so I've been writing for longer than I've been published. And I was always going to write whether or not I eventually got published. And I think that is, being able to hold on to that, I think has taken me very, very, very far. And it's helped ground me too, because it'd be very easy to get caught up in so much of publishing. Like there's writing and then there's publishing and everything that comes with that. And, zeroing in on my love of writing is a way to help me ground myself.
So now I'm going to ask each of you, what's the most favorite thing about being you? Coco, we can start with you.
Okay. Wow, I don't think God, what could there be?
Oh my gosh, I could give you a whole list of things.
Well, I mean, definitely in terms of writing, I cannot stress enough how lucky I feel to be in the position that I am, the opportunities that I've been able to take a hold of. Everything from like being able to go to Book Expo and BookCon, and like Y'all Fest and like a bunch of other events where I've had the chance to like meet my readers and also other authors who I've admired for so long. On my debut novel has just been like mind-blowing, and I really could not have asked for more. I feel like definitely my youth has given me a challenge in the writing industry, but also it's been really nice because a lot of the times I'll meet authors and they'll like be like, "Oh, baby," and then small child author person, and then they'll like take me under their wing, which I have just been so grateful for, and that's like helped me so much, because I mean the publishing industry is insane sometimes, and the process is convoluted, and sometimes you really just need a little help and a little guidance, and I've definitely gotten that. So I mean, I just hope that I can continue like paying it forward.
I like that. How about you, Tochi?
Oh man, it's interesting thinking of this question, trying to figure out, okay, if I were constantly reborn, what thing would I want every reincarnation of me to have? I want to say curiosity. I think that's like the coolest, like that's the thing that drives me in so many different directions and in so many different aspects of my life, is that curiosity. I like learning is fun, which is like a super nerdy thing to say, but like I really like learning new stuff, which explains like my magazine subscriptions and how I'm always reading and always trying to maintain that neuroplasticity. Although it's a lot more difficult to learn things now than it was when I was like 12. But yeah, I'd say curiosity. I'd say curiosity. It killed the cat, but it made me who I am.
Well, I'm gonna jump into something fun. What is your favorite word that you use? Is there a word that you like to use and you find yourself using all the time?
Well, I think my favorite word is sonder. It's like the realization that everyone around you and the people you just pass by on the street, they all have lives of their own and their own habits and relationships and schedules and circumstances, and like everyone is unique in the same way that you are. And then I guess word that I use a lot, I mean, if we're really talking about quantity, the word I use the most is probably like, because I'm part of that generation. But I don't know. Tochi, you go first. I'm gonna stew on this.
Okay, mine is super, super, super weird. It's Brobdingnagian. And so that it means just like really, 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 really big. And
use that word.
yeah, yeah. I've looked through. It's funny. It pops up over and over and over in essays that I write, and I can't get enough of that word. It feels like my word. It feels like mine. Just because I don't know anybody else who uses it. I've seen it on one other
No,
occasion.
it sounds like a dinosaur's name.
From the Cretaceous period. Yeah, that's got to be my word.